All right. Welcome to the May meeting. We're going to go over some details here. Got to see what Todd wants me to cover as well. Um, so far, I've loaded a couple of the practice videos in the app under the chat area. I'm waiting for a couple more. So stupid on the phone how they just stop if your phone turns off. They stop uploading. So I got to keep checking back over there to make sure the uploads keep uploading. It's already fucking me over again. Um, yeah, still not over there. I got two May jumper. I got jumper and thrower loaded. Still have jumper two to load and sprinter race walkers. They're still not done loading in YouTube, but I will be publishing those as soon as they finish all of their prep stuff they're doing. Um, okay, Todd's tips message. Okay. Um, all right, I'm going to go over the diet for May, of which I didn't upload, and there's a reason why I did not upload that. I'm going to discuss that with you, what I've been watching people do with their diet since I haven't uploaded. We're going to talk about the practices, talk about Miranda's gorgeous photo shoot and that process. We're going to talk about issues with working out and follow through because of your identity. And then we're going to go over Todd's items that he wants me to make sure that are covered. And then any questions that you have for the month of May, what you should be doing, and where you're at. Okay. First of all, for the month of May, I on purpose did not load the meal plan yet. I wanted to watch what everyone was doing with their diets and what their bodies were doing, not having a structure. I also was contemplating um, how I've already uploaded 54 meal plans over the past few years. And even because I do them all as well, and what was happening in my own progress or lack of progress. And really dawned on me how you're going to get nowhere when you constantly change your way of eating. It leads to nothing. It leads to you feeling like you're getting somewhere and you're actually getting nowhere at all, because changing the type of dieting that you do over and over and over leads to nothing. It's a complete dead end. I'm definitely going to put that in the book. Um, so it just makes you feel like since you're making changes, you're on a new meal plan, it's just a brand new month and something good's going to happen and nothing happens at all. You are gaining and losing the same 7 pounds, 12 pounds, 20 pounds, 35 pounds, 40 pounds over and over, back and forth, back and forth. And so if a month goes by and you didn't gain 20, you feel like, oh, I'm making progress. But in reality, you made no progress. Um, Progress is when you actually get all the way down to your goal weight and it's staying. That's actually progress. Some people go back and forth within the 5 pounds. They go back and forth with 8. They go back and forth with 25, 30, or 50. Back and forth, back and forth. You either do it on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis, every 3 years. But you're not getting anywhere. Your brain thinks you're getting somewhere when you change it all the time. You're getting nowhere. This is also going to lead into some of the marketing we're going to be helping Kim with her meal plan service or meal prep service, getting on it and staying on it all the way till you get to your goal. So it's going to be a big part of our marketing that we're going to do for her business. But so what I realized was since I began the keto plan on December 25th last year, and I haven't altered one day. Um, if anything, I just fast, but I don't alter keto whatsoever. And then this is the most results that I've had since back in the days when I would do Miss Fitness competitions, which those diets are the same diet nonstop, strict all the way to the stage, and every single time you're getting ready for a show. And so what I realized was oh, wow, this is identical. I have variety. I made keto plan, I think 51 was the first one, 51, 52, 53, or 50, 51, 52, 53. And I just stick with them, just get new recipes, but I don't change the keto part of it. And this is the most change my body's actually doing consistently every single month. I'm not going back and forth at all. I haven't gained back one time where, like I said, I, like the rest of you, changing diets all the time. It's just never ending, back and forth, back and forth. You're actually getting nowhere. So I wanted everyone to just float around for these first couple weeks of May to see what everyone's diet was doing, body was doing, weight was doing, collecting all the weights from everybody, and no one's succeeding at all. It's just same shit. Everything's slow, or it stopped, or there's gains, or there's no progress at all. So that kind of validated what I was already feeling last month about myself. And I just validated with all of you. So when the body weight and body fat percentage is not changing in a permanent way, it's from changing what you're doing too much. You're always looking for, and you're thinking that a change in your diet is going to help you, and it doesn't. It doesn't do anything at all. So whatever diet ends up working. And I'm also going to go down, I'm going to have a very split personality between the people that have no glucose or insulin issues and the people that do have glucose or insulin issues. That's about it. That's the heads and tails. So I am on the side of the people who do have glucose and insulin issues. I'd say Brittany and Todd are over on the side that does not. I'm not them. I never was them, and I never will be them. So insulin and glucose issues are genetic. They are with you for life. This is an amazing lesson. I listened to this guy called the Carb Addiction Doc. He's an African. He's from Africa. He has a British accent from Africa, and he was a rugby player for 32 years. And he's a real big motherfucker, real tall, big. And so for him to say he gained 100 pounds in 1 year, I was like, oh my God, I'd be up 250 if this guy gained 100 in 1 year. Anyway, so he's really big. And he played rugby for 32 years. And then the 1 year, so he retired. He said, I retired. And in that 1 year, I gained 100 pounds. I was like, oh my God. And he said, and I'm a doctor. And that year that I quit, I decided to quit that year that I was finishing up my PhD. And he was working with in the subject of insulin, the kidneys, the liver. So he had to do all of his dissertation and all that stuff for his PhD. And so he was researching deeply. And at the same time, he himself was gaining 100 pounds while he was finishing up his PhD. And he said, oh my God, I'm up 100 pounds. And he's like, was this just stopping 4 days a week of rugby? So at first he was blaming, he just stopped all his extensive amount of calorie burning. And then as he kept doing more and more research, he's like, no. He's like, my food that I'm eating, he said, as a rugby player in this small town he was a part of, he said they always got like, the local town restaurant gave him all you could eat at the buffets, gave him all kinds of food. And he said, so I use that as just, since I'm a rugby player and I'm an athlete, I can eat all the carbs I want and get away with it. So he said, didn't realize how much of a carb addict I was until I gained 100 pounds. And so he said, oh my God. And then he said, okay, well, let me research some other diets, started researching keto and carnivore and all those. And he's like, my God, I eat so many carbs. And then he said, he started looking at his own numbers, his ketosis numbers, his glucose numbers, his insulin numbers. And he's like, holy shit. He's like, my glucose numbers are off the charts. And so then he did more and more research. And he said, he said people fall in two categories when it comes to glucose and insulin. He said, there is the high glucose people, which that's where I'm at. He said, and again, if you just go heads and tails, best way to look at it, high glucose people, high glucose, and then there's high insulin people. He said the high glucose people, he said those are the people that are going to get heart disease. Absolutely. He said you're going to get heart disease. He said you're going to get the strokes, then you're going to get the heart attacks, then you're going to get the dementia. Everything in my family and everything that scares the fuck out of me that I would never want to have. So heart disease, stroke, and dementia. He said the reason that happens on this side, excess carbs come in and they inflame the blood. So inflame the blood. When you inflame your blood, you get the heart disease and the high blood pressure. That inflamed blood turns into stroke, which then turns into dementia because it's inflamed of the brain. He says, so that's the high glucose people. That's where you're all headed. Every one of you are headed there. I was like, yep, that's me 100%. He said, high glucose gets hypoglycemia. Me too. Hypoglycemia was happening nonstop. I was miserable when I first started keto. Hypoglycemic. I had every single checkbox. Boom, boom, boom. All of them. He said, it's going to start by being forgetful. Then your forgetful is going to be like, you don't remember shit. And then not remembering shit. Now you're going to stop forgetting people. You're going to start not being able to remember people altogether. I was like, oh my God. He said, now the other side of the coin, he said, these coins do not mix. He said, the other side of the coin is people that have high insulin, which I don't have. He said, high insulin people, he said, this has nothing to do with A1C. None of that shit that your doctor's going to test. He said, high insulin people, he said, they're going to get morbid obesity. So that's number one. He said, that's the sign he's on. That's the side he was on. He said, morbid obesity is no joke. He said, don't matter what height you are, you're going to morbid obesity with high insulin.
Wait, that's the side you're on?
No, I'm not morbid obesity. Wait, I got you obese.
Is that the side I'm on?
No, you're neither. You guys don't have these problems at all.
There were two sides.
No, there's only two sides of people that have blood sugar problems.
Oh.
You and Todd don't have blood sugar problems.
Okay.
No, this is blood sugar problem.
I was like, I have a fear of fat knees. Does that mean I'm fighting
No,
obesity?
no, that's not you. You're neither one of these.
Okay.
Nope, you're neither one of these. So morbid obesity is that's first sign of high insulin problems. He said for morbid obesity, these are the ones that get cancer. So that's your next thing you guys get. It goes to cancer. He said this one also gets autoimmune problems, which causes arthritis, high inflammation of the body. Instead of your blood inflaming like mine, the high glucose people, you get inflammation of your lymph and your overall body gets extremely inflamed, which is what arthritis is. So arthritis, edema, all kinds of joint. You get real bad joint problems with all of the crystallus of the lectins and the oxalates. So you get autoimmune issues, which always leads to edema and arthritis for you. You guys get the cancer. You won't be losing your mind like the dementia people. Morbid obesity. You guys also do not get hypoglycemic issues like the inflamed blood people do. And then obviously you get every single one of the diabetes. So you get type 1, you get type 2, type 3 if you are an alcoholic, because that's what type 3 diabetes is. It's alcoholism. And you get type 4, which is Parkinson's. Type 2, obviously, is the issue of type 2. And then type 1, certain body types will get type 1. That's usually younger, and that usually happens before age 29. So that's who's over on that side. So morbid obesity, which goes to cancer, arthritis, edema, and all the autoimmune problems. Type 1, type 2, type 3, if you're an alcoholic, or type 4, Parkinson's. So that's where that all leads to, every ounce of that. Lymph problems, edema problems, all that kind of stuff. So that's where that research went. So I was like, oh my God. So that's what high glucose or high insulin. Now you could be a person that doesn't have either. You don't have sugar problems. You're not on the high glucose side. You're not on the high insulin side. You don't have the obesity. You can eat some chips, wrap the bag up, put it away. 1 or 2 candies, wrap the bag up, put it away. That isn't in my wheelhouse ever. It never was. It never will be. That's how they behave. I've never behaved like them. So, something I wanted to say about them. If they gain weight when they don't have high glucose and high insulin, oh shit, what did it say that happens to them? Oh crap, I was just talking about it with Todd. When they start working out, when they gain muscle very easily, because it's like they don't have something fighting them. And so because they gain muscle so easily, their muscle uptakes all that sugar really easy for them.
And if I'm not working out, then it doesn't uptake it, and then
I know what she calls fucked is nothing like what I just explained. What she calls fucked, if she loses muscle, Todd or her, the people that don't have blood sugar issues, they feel really fucked. It makes them feel really bad, and then they want to hurry up and get back to exercise. Because they don't have blood sugar issues, they really get upset when they don't work out. Where with us, especially my heart disease side, I get so exhausted that trying to work out is hard for me because I get so tired because I have inflamed blood. And then the obesity side, the other side of me, they get so drained because they're walking around with so much weight. They're like, you're out of your mind if you think I want to work out. I'm so fucking tired. You know how much weight I've been carrying all day. So it's very draining. And that's when the feet hurt. That's when the hands hurt. That's when the actual extremities hurt on the high insulin people.
That's why
I won't complain about extremities. I'll complain about exhaustion.
Yeah.
They'll complain about, I'm so tired. My bones hurt. My hands hurt. My feet hurt. So then they don't work out. This group, when they don't have the blood sugar issues, they're just like, man, I just got lazy. I fell off the bandwagon. I got to get my ass back to work, back into the gym. They get back in the gym. They're right back into the balls rolling again for them. Their muscles up, taking all the sugar,
and that's
got
why
good balance.
I have to work out to deal with stress.
Yes.
And you say I'm too stressed right now to work out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So her blood is not inflamed and her body's not inflamed. So she just says, I got to get to the gym, because her body says, dude, you're turning off your switch.
Yeah.
You're turning your switch off of uptaking all your blood sugar. This is going to lead to a bad place for you. And she catches it before it goes bad.
Yeah. So I start to feel out of balance when I'm not working out.
Yes.
Because it's not eating up.
So does Todd.
And so then if I'm eating extra sugar or carbs and my muscles aren't eating it up and I'm not burning it up, then I feel out of balance.
Yes. So that's an out of balance feeling. That's not a disease state. This is what I'm trying to stress with all of you. There's a such thing as a disease state. It's here for keeps. It's here for keeps. It's coming from genetics. It's coming from pushing the envelope too far. I've been obese since 11. So this shit is very, very genetic. She does not have that glucose insulin issue. Neither does Todd.
I just gained weight starting with when I had to quit gymnastics. I gained 20 pounds in like a month.
See what she said?
That was just from
activity that went away. That's it. It wasn't from her genetics. It was activity that went away, and she was eating like an athlete still.
Yeah.
So back to that doctor, he thought about himself, and he thought, well, maybe I'm just an athlete that gained the weight, and if I just get back to activity, it'll go back away. And he said, no, I'm not. I'm actually a carb addict. And he was in the morbid obesity category. And he said, wow, what is going on with all this carbs I'm eating? He said, the carbs I'm eating is what I'm doing for emotional control. Me too. He said, eating carbs and thinking that you need carbs. He said, carbs are not any macronutrient. It's not needed by the human body whatsoever. He said, the only nutrients the human body needs is fatty acids, amino acids, water, and some vitamins and minerals. He said, absolutely zero comes from carbs. He said, all the carbs that turn into glucose or glycogen that we eat come out of a fatty acid. So you never have to feed your body carbs. If you eat fat, your body says, thank you. I needed some of that fat because I need to get some glucose for my brain today. I'll go ahead and break down your fatty acid and feed my brain. That's what ketones are. They're a breakdown of fatty acid that turned into a carb. That's what happens if you overeat protein. Your body says, oh, you gave me too much protein. I'm going to turn that into glycogen. So fatty acids, amino acids, and vitamins, only thing the human body needs. It's nothing but a psyop marketing that you're supposed to eat carbs, and it's paid for to be on the food pyramid. So there is no such thing. Oh, but I need a little bit of carb. I need some carbs before here. I need some carbs before there. No, I'm going to rephrase it. Rhonda's another one that doesn't have glucose or insulin issues. If you perform good by eating a sweet potato, if you perform good by eating rice, if you perform good, you're performing good because you're not fucked. That's why you're performing good. Your body's not fucked. The rest of us, where we have a fucked metabolism from high insulin or high glucose, no, we already have plenty of all that shit already stored in our bodies. Obviously, Rachel, you're down the track of the high insulin because of what you've already experienced in your past. All of you know exactly which side you're on. And those of you who don't have glucose or insulin issues, and you can keep your weight under control and it maintains itself, you know who you are as well. I don't have to pinpoint this for you. When it comes to fibroids and things that grow, anything that grows in the body has to grow from a growth hormone. And guess what is the number one growth hormone in the body? Brittany, you have any idea?
Not human growth hormone.
Nope.
Is insulin a growth hormone?
Yes.
Oh.
So insulin is the number one growth hormone. If you eat things that trigger your insulin, you're going to grow cancer, fibroids, tumors, acne, fat. So that's what causes shit to grow. So if you're growing things you don't want to grow, you're on the high insulin side. I don't really grow stuff like that. That's not, we get heart disease. We get all those fucking problems. So growth hormone is excess insulin. Another reason to avoid it at all costs. Every time we eat, no matter protein, fat, swallowing your vitamin, fat in your coffee, we're triggering insulin. So the more times you trigger insulin, the more things you're going to make grow in your body if you have the high insulin body that grows stuff. So that's why intermittent fasting shortens the window of times that you eat, so you don't eat that often, so you don't trigger your insulin 6, 7, 8. This doctor said he was triggering his insulin 15 times a day. Oh my God. He said his serving, I'm not exaggerating, his serving of M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, was the stuff that you get at GFS, the big bags that are used for bakers, and a 12-pack of Coke. That's what he was doing every day while he was working as a doctor. That helped him gain 100 pounds. So when he lost 100 pounds, he obviously took all that and then went to keto, and he's been on it for 5 years or whatever. So I'm talking this strict about your diet. No more back and forth on your diet. No more lying about how diseased your state actually is, and how it's impacting everything about you. So you need to actually really grasp that. This is going to be written about in the book that Todd's writing, by the way, but everything we teach you guys, we teach you first before it's going to actually show up in the book that's going to go out to the marketplace. So hopefully I made myself really clear here. So now when I publish the next meal plan, I'm staying on keto because I am in a disease state and I will be for the rest of my life. So that is the meal plan I'm going to load. Now what I'm thinking about is how many of you are not in a disease state that I could load a healthy meal plan for. And I don't know of any of you that are on the call that are not, except for Rhonda. That would be the only one. But she's so disciplined on her diet, I don't really think I need to load a meal plan for her. So if anybody else wants to dispute that, please speak up. You need not hold your information on that. But I don't think any of you are outside of a disease state. Do you have anything else that you want to add from everything that I just gathered from that carb addiction doc? Just your personal experience, if you want to talk about someone who doesn't have either one of these problems.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think now. Like, it's making me think about like different clients. I will say, like, when you find the thing that actually matches what's happening in your body, it is the right answer, and you don't have to jump around. So to your point of like, you don't have to change diets all the time. Like, when you find what works for your body, it never changes. So when I discovered mobility training, and the next thing I'm kicking off with TVX is this concept of like, no, we actually have to do mobility and stretching almost every single day. Like, this isn't just like show up on Thursdays. This isn't a 1 day a week thing. This isn't even like twice a week when I do glutes. This is like an everyday thing for me. And if I get off of that, and the answer is not just stretching, because for example, last week, after I had track and my workouts and just, my schedule's all over the place right now with random shit. And I was stretching, but I didn't specifically do mobility every day.
Okay.
And then, started fucking limping over the weekend.
Oh.
And so then we had to change the track workout schedule because Todd texted me nowadays being super responsive and easing my poor fucking shins and feet back into this shit. He was like, how are your feet and shins feeling? Because they killed on Friday. And I was like, I mean, they're better. They're not 100%. I was like, but I got to sit with my massage gun for about an hour because I'm currently limping. I was like, we'll see what happens. And so this was like 9 a.m. after I got done with my morning clients. And I was like, all right, massage gun time. Like, I got to get myself ready to go to the track, even if it takes 3 fucking hours. Like, I've just learned, like, just go for it. Like, don't tell him no. So then he came back with, all right, we're just going to have to do Thursday and Friday. Like, get yourself fixed. I was like, I have a chuck appointment on Wednesday. So I went to the gym, did mobility, did some glute stuff, did my cardio, did my stretches, started to feel better. And then today went, did my cardio, trying to cram everything in. I got about 10 minutes of mobility in. And then walking around today, I was like, oh, that actually fixed it.
Wow.
So that's what I'm kicking off with my next TVX, where they're actually going to have homework, where I film like a 5-minute series. So it's going to be 5 minutes. We're going to do it 5 days a week. That's the goal. And then it's just going to be 5 different mobility exercises and stretching. So do each one for a minute each. So that's what I literally did this morning when I was at the gym, just practicing, like, what does it feel like if I do this one move for a whole minute? So for me, that is super effective at either reversing the shit I neglected for a couple days. And I'm talking neglected for a couple days. And I'm talking like I didn't know mobility, but I stretched and I was still working out every day.
Yeah.
Like, if my body gets into that state that fast, it's making me see, to your point of like disease state, I'm looking at the, I don't even want to say decondition. Like, what would you call it when your body gets so locked up? It's actually an effect of intense training and working out. It's not even just from sitting. Like, this is what I'm experiencing, whether I work out and do light workouts, whether I do hard workouts, like everything just tenses up so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I do know this from learning from Michelle.
Okay. What would you call that?
I would say you're a soma.
I hold stress in my body.
Well, you're okay. So people either hold it in their emotions, they hold it mentally, or they hold it in their muscles.
No, mine's in my muscles.
You're a muscle. I'm a muscle holder.
Yeah.
You're a muscle holder. I just know that I'm a muscle holder. 4 weeks out of every month, you're never going to not catch me. I'm either Mike reflexology, Mike muscle, massive yoga twice a week here. Oh, there's no time. So I know I store my muscles. Obviously the Epsom salt soaks, or I put them in the shower or whatever. Yeah. No week goes by that I don't impact my soma, my muscles.
Okay.
Because I can't take any chances. So I don't have 3 days to neglect. It will tense up so bad.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I can't do it. I can't neglect it ever.
Yeah. So it's a daily thing. So I'm seeing at this level of, because I'm used to, we get busy with the business and I put my body to the side. And now with what
just
we're
do
doing,
2 things. Yeah. If you just do business, 2 things.
Yeah. So I'm just seeing like, okay, it has to be, but like where I'm at with performance right now, it has to be mobility every day. Does. It can't just be stretching.
And it can be 5 things, like you said, 5 minutes, whatever.
So it's got to be, I was like, okay, we're at the level now where it has to be mobility every single day.
It does.
Even if it's just 5 minutes.
It does. Even if it's just 5 minutes. And really, some of my things are only 7 minutes or 8 minutes. And they work. Yeah. They work for me. Yeah. Because I never stop them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got in the habit of stretching, but I was like, okay, that's not enough. Like, whatever.
Not for you.
So I would say that's kind of like my equivalent of what I'm experiencing and figuring out with the body. When it comes to the diet, going back to what you said about me having the more muscular body type that wants to put on muscle.
Yeah.
Over this past 7-month period where I was like, okay, I have to gain enough muscle on my hips and glutes so they can absorb all of the intense training this time. Because every single season, I've never gotten through a season without fucking hurting so bad by the end and not being able to train intense. So every other season I went through it and I was training so intensely and not recovering enough, and I couldn't absorb the force that I couldn't complete a whole season with 100% effort on intensity.
That's
so I was like, okay, I don't like, I'm such an all or nothing person. I don't like not giving something my all.
Yeah.
So that's what was pissing me off the most. So,
But I would say, if I compare you to some of the people on this call,
yeah,
I watched you actually put on muscle. I've been training several of these people, and they're not gaining muscle because they're in a disease state.
right.
The number one body type that does not gain muscle easy is the high insulin body type.
So that's
They don't
what
gain
I'm
muscle well
saying
because they're
about
growing bad things instead of growing muscle. You actually grew muscle in a really good way when you
So-
put your mind to it.
my body type. I have been dieting since I was like 13 years old. And this is the first time I didn't just look at the number on the scale because, you know, where she's like, her weight's all over the place.
Yeah.
I'll control my shit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, this is my number that I'm not going above.
Yeah.
And so every time I would
I
get close
couldn't
to
do
that
that.
number,
I
I
couldn't
would
do
just
that.
like not eat as much for a couple days and do more cardio and literally like diet off whatever muscle mass that my body was attempting to gain. So I was not gaining muscle that
Also,
my
you
body
never
was like
did a
screaming
muscle
for.
gain.
Right. So I was never, I've been dieting, keeping my weight down for,
Yeah.
you know, at least 10 years straight at this point since we started working out
Yeah.
more consistently.
But I mean, when
So-
she says the word dieting, I'm going to rephrase that. You're such a clean eater.
Well, I'm dieting now. It's
yeah, but
just healthy
you're just
shit.
always a clean eater.
I was in some kind of a caloric deficit, controlled calorie
yeah,
state
exactly.
for about 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what keeps your body looking like this.
Right.
Yeah, but you didn't alter your diet. You didn't do any crazy
No,
shit
I'm
at
a
all.
very boring,
Yeah.
basic eater.
Yeah,
When I figure
exactly.
out what works,
But you
that's what
keep, and that
works.
keeps your weight under control.
Right.
Yeah.
But at this point, the answer for me, having the more muscular body type, was I had to actually eat enough protein
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
And for me, healthy carbs for performance to be able to push hard enough in my workouts to actually put that muscle on.
Yep.
So I've never been through that kind of growth phase because I've always been scared of numbers at the scale
Yeah.
and paranoid about having fat knees like my mom.
Yep.
So this was the first time that I actually could feed my body and feed my muscles to grow.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to keep the scale weight down.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now you're just taking some of the body fat back down. That's all you're doing.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
But again, you can do it. You didn't have hypoglycemia.
Exactly.
You didn't have any of this inflammation shit
Yeah.
going on. Your body just said, let's grow muscle.
Yeah.
And it grew its muscle. And now you're like, well, you're in a healthy state. Now you're just cutting back down slowly so you don't lose the muscle that you spent the time
Exactly.
putting it on.
Yeah.
So, and clean eating, I think you're getting asked here.
What is
clean eating? Oh, hold on. Okay. Hold on. So,
What?
Let's stop
Yeah,
recording.
okay.
Stupid.
What
thing.
is mobility? Well, mobility is your ability to maintain strength through a full range of motion. So when you're moving, for example, your hip, the ball and socket joint, you want to be able to not only with flexibility move it through the full range of motion. So flexibility, if you don't have good flexibility, it can stop your range of motion. But then if you don't have good control over your muscles, they won't flex to move it through that range of motion. So it's not the same thing as flexibility. Working on your mobility will actually help with your flexibility. So that's what my Thursday group is all about. It's literally like 50% mobility training worked in with weight training sets.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's a certain type of muscular activity she's doing.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
workout form.
Yeah. So it's a lot of like, you see it get used in prehab. You see it get used for athletes for warming up. One of my friends that actually just went to Steelers camp because he's an NFL player and they started their season. It didn't really sink in until I was watching this 24-year-old do mobility every day. And I was like,
every day.
Oh, this is not an age-related thing. Like he's 24. This is because his career as an NFL player depends on it. And this is what he does every day. So he would start his workouts before every single one of his workouts every day. He would start out doing like 20 minutes of mobility and he would get there early and he would do his mobility. And then that really kind of like had it, that helped it really like hit home. Like, oh, this is not like, I don't need to have any judgments that this is based on age. This is just what athletes do.
Yeah.
So that's what mobility is. All right.
Yeah. I'm going to answer her about clean eating, just how your lifestyle of your eating.
Wait, no, Kim's saying.
No, I'm going to answer Kim's. I'm answering.
Oh,
Kim's.
okay. You.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm answering Cindy about clean
eating.
eating.
Just answer Cindy about clean eating.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I don't really eat sugary carbs. Like I had a piece of cake for my birthday. Wasn't a big deal. You know, I can eat some cake and then like not eat it the next day.
No way can I do that.
But I always make sure, because I have more muscle, I'm a hungry fucking girl. Like Todd used to tease me all the time. He's like, God, you just walk in this office with a big plate of meat. And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, God, are you going to eat all that? I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to eat. Like when we're on a trip, I'm like, oh my God, I need to eat right now. And he's like talking. I'm like, I need to eat right now. So I always, I had to come into full acceptance of that. And so I always have to have food meal prep. So I always have chicken in the fridge. I always have lean beef in the fridge. All it is free, organic, grass-fed and finished. All the eggs are free range.
Normally your serving is about 6 to 8 ounces of your meat normally. And
it's
some
about
goat cheese and some eggs.
Yeah,
and
it's
some
about
Brussels
5
sprouts.
ounces when it's all cooked. So it ends up being about 6 ounces raw.
Yeah.
And then I always have veggies. I do like to vary my veggies. So like this week I have broccoli. I'm kind of sick of the Brussels sprouts for a second. I'm going to make some green beans next. I just got some lettuce. I have some broccoli slaw. So there's about 4 to 6 different veggies that I'll cook on rotations. I like little Yukon golden potatoes.
But see, now that she's talking about carbs, she's not in a disease state.
I can eat jasmine rice. I can eat those. Jasmine rice. So, but I'm right now.
It doesn't make her gain weight.
Right.
So if you're eating some of the things she's talking about and you gain weight from them,
right.
This is what you need to understand. She's not in a disease state. It doesn't make her gain. I know I'm in a disease state. That same fucking food, first of all, makes me so hungry. I'm not going to eat a little portion like she does. I'm going to keep fucking eating it. I'm going to dream about it, think about it, and go back to the store and buy more of it. I'm not going to eat it in moderation.
Yeah. Where for me, it gives me, it literally in my body, I feel, it gives me energy to work out.
Not me.
And then when it comes to dropping weight, the phase I'm in now, it's cutting back on the carbs on certain days. So again, to her point of like, you don't really need carbs to live. When it comes to dropping weight, I'm cutting out the carbs on certain days. And, today I pretty much just had protein and veggies and a shake. I do protein shakes every day.
Yeah. That's it.
And I don't miss my carbs today. So I'm not her blood sugar
she's
thing.
not diseased where she's missing
I'm not missing carbs today. Tomorrow I get more carbs.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when someone is over without any disease state. So Kim, I'm reading yours. Nope, you can't be all of those things. You're literally just one thing because you are growing fibroids. And since you're growing, you're too much insulin. You're
she said I love carbs. She doesn't want to be. She doesn't want to be in that group because she loves carbs.
Exactly. Well, every carb addict loves carbs.
So. Yeah.
You think that we don't love them? I mean, for real, you're the only one that gets to love them? For real? I'm like, loving carbs is proof of carb addiction. That's what it is. An alcoholic says, but I love my martinis. They're type 3 diabetic. They are in alcoholism.
Yeah, I can also drink and then not drink for weeks.
Not me.
I don't care.
When her and I went out,
oh, God.
I drink and drink and drink and drink and drink. I get loud.
And
she nurses a drink. Or I made her puke.
No, she makes me puke. There's never, and I nurse a drink with you.
I've never in my life nursed one drink. Ever. I'm like, first of all, that's stupid to me. Secondly, I don't do moderation. I'm not part of the masses. Third, as soon as I start drinking a sweet mixed drink, I'm like, oh, this is fucking good. Chug the whole thing. I got to go to the next one.
Yeah, where I literally don't even want the sweet ones. And I notice like if I have like, 2 drinks or whatever on one night, the next night, if let's say I'm going out with friends, whatever, let's say, I'm like, sure, yeah, whatever. I will just nurse that one drink. I literally don't even want to drink 2 days in a row. Like, I don't want it. I'm like, oh, this doesn't even taste good the second day. But that's back to your point. Like, that's how my body responds.
Exactly.
I don't want that many carbs days in a row. And I don't want alcohol days in a row.
And that's a healthy body.
People that go someplace and they drink for 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
I can drink max for about 4 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Like maybe once a month. Like, that's about my quota. And other than that, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It just
I don't drink.
Good.
Yeah, I don't drink because there is no moderation in my drinking. I will tell you also about this, about dieting. And what she just said about that booze is incredible. That carb addiction doctor, this is beautiful. He said, no food that the human body actually needs, it's impossible to get fat on it. I was like, are you fucking kidding? He said, you can't get fat on fatty acids. You can't get fat on amino acids. You can't get fat on vitamins and minerals. He said there is a stop valve in the human body for water. No doctor, no nutritionist ever has to say drink 8 glasses of water a day. You don't need to be told how much water to drink. You will drink your water, and then when your body says that's good, you set your water down.
Yeah.
He said you don't need to be told cut your fat off at this number. You will eat fat, and when your body says now that's good, I don't need any more fat, you will stop eating fat. You don't need to be told how many amino acids. When you are done eating protein, your body says I don't want any more fucking chicken. I don't want another burger that's starting to taste like shit now. He said your body has stop valves on only the things that the body says those are nutrients I must have. He said, notice there's no stop valve on alcohol or carbs because they're not a mandatory nutrient. So alcoholism is created because the brain goes, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what the substance is. And I don't know when to tell you to stop. And the same thing with carbs. I don't know what you're eating. I don't know what this is. All I know is my insulin's going crazy and there's a high elevation of sugar going on in the bloodstream, which is very threatening, but I don't even know how to tell you to stop it. So he said, that's how you know that you're consuming something that's not made for a human. It's not made for a human when there's no stop valve already built in. He said, our body is so perfect. It has all the stop valves it needs already built into it.
And I will say for everyone, like the biggest change I had to make because I was in this, you know, deficit for a decade, I would go after like M&Ms first. So the biggest thing I had to, the biggest change I had to make, you know, like they bring you bread first at a restaurant and you eat it. Think about doing the opposite of that. So I would like grab a handful of M&Ms and then try to eat afterwards, and that fucks up your blood sugar. What I noticed is the amount, if you focus on eating your protein and veggies first, you literally won't be full for anything else. Like you won't want dessert. You won't want a handful of M&Ms. You won't want the bread. I will say last week I was sitting in Todd's office and I was eating, it was like the first or second week of like having like low carb days, which before I would have been like, oh my God, like I'm going to be a hangry bitch. Where this time, I mean, don't get me wrong, like too many hours and I'm definitely a hangry bitch. But when I have the right food coming in, I was sitting in his office and I was just chewing. And I make really good Brussels sprouts. So I love my Brussels sprouts. But like halfway through the meal, I was just like, you know what? I'm fucking sick of chewing. And I'm like, I'm full. And it took me probably like 30 minutes and we were having a meeting. So he's just talking like to finish that bowl of food. And I was like, if you just focus on eating the amount of protein and veggies that your body actually needs, you're not going to want anything else.
Okay. I love how she said that. That absolutely does work with a healthy metabolism that's not fucked on the other
I was
side.
talking about protein and veggies.
But she's right.
Yeah.
She's absolutely
That's
right.
the thing to focus on regardless.
Yeah, regardless.
Yeah.
So that's all keto is, and all carnivore is that without all the vegetables.
But
it's the same shit.
That try to cheat diets or do macros or this, I was going after like the sweet thing first, and then it would throw my blood sugar off, or then I wouldn't eat all the chicken I was supposed to eat or the veggies.
There
when
you go.
Actually really fucking focus on the things that you're supposed to eat first.
Yeah.
Like an adult.
Yeah.
You know, like how adults scold kids, like, no, eat your food first.
Yeah.
No, eat your whole meal.
Yeah.
No, you got to finish that before you get dessert.
Yep.
You won't actually even want dessert.
Yep.
So don't have a fear of being hungry because you have to cut out carbs. Don't even have a fear of feeling like you're missing something.
You're not.
You're not.
You're not missing anything. So the only thing you're doing is you're an addict. That's number one. And addicts have a voice inside. I need this. I need this. I need this. I need this. It's a real voice. It's not imaginary. And then the addiction is just going to lead to more dis-ease. So the word is dis-ease. Your body's supposed to be in ease. Your body's in dis-ease. So when there's products coming into it that are actually not natural. So you need to wrestle with that. Some of you are going to accept it. Some of you are going to say, no, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to do shit my way. That's completely up to you. You're an adult. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm just letting you know. So the answer is actually how big of a disease state you're in, or that I'm in, and then what it's like when someone's not in a disease state. And where I have fallen prey is I will listen to people like Brittany, whether they're in the marketplace selling a diet, making me believe that it will work for me. And it doesn't. It works for a non-disease state body. And so you cannot follow a non-disease person that's trying to lead you. They're going to lead only non-disease state people. They can't lead people that are in a disease state. That's what that carb addiction doctor made me see. I was like, oh my God, how many diets, how many people inspired me with their weight loss. There could have been tons of high insulin, morbidly obese girls I've watched on YouTube try to eat like them, and they don't have the heart disease side that I have, and it won't work for me either. So that's a really big thing that you're going to have to wrestle with, or you're not going to get to any form of an end result for your body. You're going to constantly not be living your life. You're going to constantly be on the outskirts. Oh, well, when I get my weight, I can. When I get my weight down, I can. When I get my weight down, when I get my fat down, when I get my stomach down, I can. And it never comes. And then you're 47, then you're 57, then you're 62, then you're 66, then you're 71, then you're 82. It just, all the ages just keep flying by. And then you're going to look back and go, God damn, this whole time, my metabolism was in a disease state and I was looking at everybody else who wasn't and just trying to copy them. It doesn't work. It's kind of like you're looking at a power lifter. You're not a power lifter and you're not going to ever be able to lift like they lift because you don't do their whole routine. You can't just go into the gym and start lifting heavy like a power lifter. They did all this training to do it. Okay, so that is my take on the diet and how severe the disease states are and everything that I've analyzed with everyone's weight that they've been sending me for the past 3 weeks. So I'll be loading the next meal plan and obviously going from there. High insulin, high glucose, high insulin. It's the same meal plan. It is a meal plan that is keto in nature or carnivore if you want to go that strict some days, which just means you're not having any veggies that day. Same shit. Same high protein, same high fat, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. That's it. Fruit is also not a necessity. Oh my God, this was one more lesson I got to say.
Oh yeah, and fruit is not a carb.
Fuck no, fruit's not a carb. Mm-hmm. This woman is called the Glucose Goddess. And she was getting interviewed and she said way back, which our genetics are based on 25,000 BC, whatever, a fruit and a vegetable back then, berries, even apples and pears. I know everyone born in the 70s remembers the apples are crab apples.
Oh.
Any apple that you see today that's anything beyond a crab apple is a hybrid made by man. Our insulin reacts to a crab apple and blueberries, strawberries, every kind of berry is supposed to be the size of a raisin in reality. Oh, our body or a dehydrated fruit. 25,000 years ago, every fruit that we used to eat, we'd have to pick. It was so much work to pick it. Was so tiny you almost couldn't see it. Humans went in like GMO, we genetically modified everything. Peppers were this big, cucumbers were this big, onions were this big, everything was little. And that's why the impact on our blood was a very low impact because it was small enough for our blood, for all the animals in the animal kingdom. We came in, added science, added GMO, and we blew the pepper up to be this big. So when I take a red pepper, when I used to eat the whole thing and my arms would get numb, I take a pepper and I eat 1/5 of the pepper because that's actually the size that we're supposed to eat. Celery's this huge. Celery used to be just a few stalks. It used to be like an asparagus. It takes 3 years to grow a stick of asparagus. That's what nature used to do. And we'd be able to pull 2 asparagus and eat them. Not a bundle of asparagus this huge. So that's another thing that's incredible. So the fruits and vegetables have been tampered with. They've been genetically modified to be huge, super juicy. She also said the modifications that humans do, strawberries and fruits are bitter. Of course they are. They're so gross. They modified the strawberry to be sweet the second you take a bite of it. Blueberries and strawberries aren't supposed to be sweet. They're bitter. Isn't that amazing?
But also, if you go strawberries, they're like the size of my fingernail.
Exactly. Well, that's a real strawberry.
Yeah, they're like the size of my fingernail.
That's a real strawberry. So anything that we're buying in the stores is genetically modified. All of it. Every last bit of it. And it's hybridized. It's hybridized to be sweet. That's the hybrid. So that's something about fruits and vegetables, people. All right. I know this is a fucking buzzkill like you've never heard before. Sorry about that, but I am known for buzzkills. Next thing, practice. Todd is big on what he wants focused on for the practices. Miranda's laughing. Miranda, the coach, is laughing. Yeah, I need a shirt that says I'm a big buzzkill. Big buzzkill. When it comes to practice, what he wants. Next 3 weeks. Strengthen the key muscles needed for each event that he went over in the USA Track and Field training videos for the month of May. Hammer the calves and the hamstrings. Javelin, the quads and the calves. Shot put, rear delts and calves. Sprints, glutes, soleus, and the hip flexors. Everyone is running for javelin this year too. No walk-ups. Then eat more protein to add more muscle before it's time to cut and get lean in June. Well, obviously that's what keto is all about. It's all about leaning your fat out, building up your muscle. When you're giving your body the appropriate amount of fatty acids and amino acids, you will be building muscle every single week. I'm noticing people I train, you know who you are, with the high insulin, you are not gaining muscle. I can't move your weights up every week. It's the same weights over and over and over. You're not gaining muscle because you're growing all the tumors and body fat, and inflammation is growing instead of the muscles. Emphasize how fast it's going to be with so little time left to the nationals. It is. So we're at May 15th, we're at June 15th, and then we're leaving on the plane July 15th. This is how fast time goes. Time flies by. There is no time to fuck around on your diet or the workouts or taking this lesson in. Make sure you time yourselves when you're doing your track workouts. He wants no excuses about having no one there to time you. You either get a watch, you get a whatever. You get a stopwatch, wrap it around you, hold it in your hand. No excuse about not timing yourself. You need to know your times. I keep it all in my phone. May 15th, 100 time, 200 time, whatever. I see, okay, I lost 1 second off my time. Some lesson he gave me, okay, made me run with my arms lower, took 3 seconds off my 100. I even write what made me change my timing. Was it my footwork? Was it my arm work? Was it I was fasting that day, so I ran faster? Was it a hardcore song in my headset? I put all those facts in there. Video yourself. Make sure you're taking video, which some of you do every single time I see you do it. So make sure you take a video of yourself and you're watching yourself. I'm also noticing when I see low mobility in the trunk for throws, for turning, it's because you're inflamed. Your blood is inflamed. Your body is inflamed. Your mobility is low because the insulin's high or your glucose is high. So now I've got answers on all this shit. There isn't more, I got to do this, I got to do that. Nope, you got to get your insulin down by actually getting really strict on the diet with the fatty acids, amino acids, and vitamins and minerals. Okay, so that's that on the practices. Miranda's gorgeous photo shoot. So those pictures turned out impeccable. They're so pretty. They look so good with Rachel. I was telling Miranda, I definitely, which I put it on our TV here, I definitely want the week of going to the Nationals, which is the week of July 18th to the 24th. I want that to be a photo shoot week. It's a good period of time when all of us would be leaner because it is summer, the hot part of summer. Number one. Number two, we're getting ready for a big event in California. So people are going to be eating better. Number three, because you'll be looking better, you'll be eating better, you will be leaner because it's the summer. That would be a good time to plan to do a photo shoot with Miranda.
I don't do it right before. I'd rather do it right after. Do you know
in that timing?
Crazy?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Just in the timing of that.
Before.
Yeah. That's okay. No, that's okay. So somewhere in that zone, setting up an appointment with her. We need to find out what price she's going to charge. So Miranda just text that to me so I know. Then I'll let everybody know on the app. And then if you want to get actual athlete photos taken of yourself, getting ready for a photo shoot is one of the best diet things that there is. So just know that if you want to do it before, if you don't have a lot going on, or you want to do it the week you get back, try to keep it in that time zone right there. She's not back in school yet. So it's probably going to be good for the schedule. So I'm just letting you all know May 14th. That's something great. Put it on your calendar now. It'll make you eat and be cleaner and all that better. Okay. Issues with not working out or training or doing the actual practices. So this has to do with your identity. So things about the psyche, the human psyche, all of us. So if you're a mom and you say you're a good mom, you do certain behaviors. If you're a dad and you say you're a good dad, you do certain behaviors. If you are a contractor, you get up early, you get done by work at 3, you wrap your cords up, your ass is home, back on the road, blah, blah, blah. Contractors usually go to work early and then they come back early. If you're a hairdresser, obviously, your hair has to be pretty. If you're a makeup artist, obviously, you know how to do your own makeup pretty, and then you do makeup. So things about if you're a teacher, you value learning information, gathering information, spelling correctly, knowing your subject. So identity is a hallmark of the human psyche, or psyche. And so if you have in your identity that you're a good mom, that you are an athlete, that you are a fitness professional, then your behaviors will line up with certain things you do to be a good mom, certain things you do to be an athlete, certain things you do to be lean and be a fitness professional. If you have one of the things you do, but not the others, then you don't really have it in your identity. That's a hobby to you. A hobby is something you could take it or leave it. So I learned the hobby, Cindy and I, and a few other girls, we learned the hobby of stoning, which just means you're putting gems on stuff. And it's fun. And it actually is really pretty on your clothes, or put it on your water bottle or whatever. But it's a hobby. It's not my identity. I tell myself, okay, I'm going to do that, for 30 minutes after I'm done studying for my Columbia Business School finance class. And I reward myself for doing that study by doing that little hobby thing. It's not my identity. Doesn't impact me at all. Weeks go by and I don't do it. That's what a hobby is. So a hobby is something that you just do, and you can take it or leave it. It doesn't define you, nothing. Certainly the behavior is not controlled. It's not routinized, Brittany's word, not routinized. It's not part of your life. You just get around to it when you feel like it. So those of you that are just getting around to your practices when you feel like it, get around to your workouts, it's not in your identity that you're a fitness enthusiast. You're not into fitness. Your identity is located somewhere else. I'm a big girl. I'm a big boy. I'm a teacher. I'm a hairstylist. So when you're a business owner, that's an identity. When you are a trainer, you're in the fitness industry. So to be in the fitness industry, you got to gather a ton of information about fitness, about diet, about vitamins, about minerals, about mobility, whatever the new cutting edge thing is. You got to constantly gather. So this isn't a hobby for her and I. This is our identity. That's why we constantly feed you guys with it. It's not a hobby for us to be a coach for pro sports. So that's why we coach it. And then we also do it ourselves. We also have an athlete identity. So an athlete identity, a true athlete, never goes days without working out. It never happens. So those of you who do not have the identity in you, you're still in a hobby mentality. Your psyche is operating like I do with stoning, adding my gems once in a while. So there should be no talk of, I didn't have time to get last week's practice in. Well, athletes always get it in. I didn't have time to actually prep my food. Fitness professionals and athletes always prep their food. So I'm trying to give you the reason behind your behavior. The reason behind your behavior, your psyche isn't locked on an identity that says I can be a mom, I can be an athlete, I can be a business owner, I can be a fitness professional, and all of them.
With the years that we spent, as trainers, obviously with Body by Todd, if you don't want that athlete identity and you don't want to keep pursuing that, that's fine too. That's who we train for years. So if you are a person who's like, I want to keep my weight under control, I like doing some of this stuff for fun, that's totally fine. Like, we're not here to judge you.
No, not at all.
Because that's what we've lived for 20 years as trainers. But we also have this select group with Amp Up Sports Nutrition that is our powerlifting team, that is our USA track and field team. So
it can't be hobbyists.
This is
you can't be a hobbyist.
This is something where you just have to say, okay, what are my priorities? So when people say, well, is this good or bad? I'm like, what are your priorities right now? I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. Yeah. So if this is something where, your life is too busy, I've been through it. Like, before the last 10 years, there was a period when our business was just so fucking busy that I didn't work out for like 3 or 4 years straight. That was my priority. That's where I chose to put my time. Mm-hmm. So I on purpose don't say I didn't have time or I don't have time, because it's about, there's a reality to, there's a certain number of hours in the day and there's a certain number of things I can prioritize. But what are my priorities now? What are my goals? What am I working towards? And then when I speak that way and I reframe it, then it's not in a lack mentality. So I didn't make time for that. I didn't prioritize that today. That's okay. That's what it is. I had to do A, B, and C. Those were my first priorities. If I got to D, E, and F, that's great. But when I'm talking to Todd, I'm like, I had to do A, B, and C today first. That was fourth on the list. I didn't get to it. I'll try to squeeze it in Friday. So just be aware of, if you want to have an athlete mentality and you want to, or if you want to be an athlete, if you want to have an athlete mentality, if you want to make that a priority in your life, then it becomes one of the top priorities with your time.
But and you can't force it. Yeah, but you can't force it. My point is,
I don't sit on the couch and watch TV. Yeah. I don't watch all this. I don't binge watch anything. I don't watch any of the shows that people watch.
Right. You can't force it. Yeah. If you have it in your identity, there is no forcing. I'm trying to point out for some of you, you don't have it in your identity. You have it in your hobby land. It's over in hobby. When people are fitness enthusiasts, fitness enthusiasts love to work out. Okay. That's a fitness enthusiast. An athlete is not a fitness enthusiast. It's a much, much, much higher level than a fitness enthusiast. So some of you are fitness enthusiasts. Like, your favorite thing to talk about and do is the next class, the next boot camp, whatever. Mm-hmm. When you're on a team is for athletes, not for fitness enthusiasts. Let me finish. It's not for fitness enthusiasts. 5Ks are fitness enthusiasts. Marathons are fitness enthusiasts. Triathlons are fitness enthusiasts. CrossFit is fitness enthusiasts. Kickboxing, title boxing is fitness enthusiasts. Actual pro sports teams are athletes. You cannot commingle. You might just be misperceiving something. There is no commingling. An athlete identity is, I have a week to get my agenda done for my sport. It's not every single minute of every single day. I've got 7 days to get my agenda in for my sport. That's it. It's not a fitness enthusiast. Okay. So I want you guys to really realize that. Some of you are in hobby land. Some of you are in fitness enthusiasts. Some of you are absolutely in athlete mode. For real. You got the athlete frame of mind. You make no excuses. You got your agenda and you do it. So there were periods of time in our life when the business needed all the attention, even though our business is the fitness industry and we are fitness enthusiasts at our core. We were living the life of fitness enthusiasts. We were doing everything in the fitness industry. So we did those two parts. Even if we didn't make it to the workout, we do a little bit of our classes or something like that. Yeah. Our main thing was, we're business owners. Right. That's our identity. But it wasn't. We are business owners in the fitness industry. Yeah,
it wasn't the standard of working out and attention to the body that I have 100%. To put on as an athlete now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we weren't in athlete mode. We were not. We were just fitness enthusiasts that were in the fitness industry. We were not in athlete mode. So, but we're athletes, and we got back in touch with it and said, oh, wow, these sports help us bring back the athlete in us, bring it back to life. Or for some of you, bring it to life for the first time. And so I'm kind of just educating you. Please see the difference. Your identity is just what you make your mind up. Like, am I a hobbyist? Am I a fitness enthusiast? Or am I an actual athlete? I have to behave like one of the three. Hobbyist, every once in a while, you do some shit. Enthusiast, you look forward to your workouts. And they can be infrequent. They can be once a week. That's all you do. That's all you got. That's all you make the time for. But know that you're just in fitness enthusiast mode. If you're in athlete mode and you're on one of the teams, you have to behave like an athlete, or it's going to look like we're lecturing the fuck out of you. I don't want to spend my time lecturing you. All right. So I want to make sure I made my point clear on there. I don't want to spend my time lecturing you because you're in two of the categories that don't match being on a team.
Yeah, we're just trying to set correct expectations for everything we're doing, because
everybody feels good.
Arguments happen when everybody's not on the same page with expectations. So anger happens and an argument happens when two parties come to the table and they have different expectations. So we're not yelling at anybody or lecturing, like we're setting expectations so there is not lecturing.
Yeah. So two different expectations at the same party.
Yeah,
not good. Let's just make sure, and there's no judgment. Let's just make sure what level your identity you can wrap your mind around, you can wrap your being around. Todd and I hate to exercise just for the sake of it. Like, I like fitness, but if you just say that I got to be on a routine every week to work out, just lifting weights, going nowhere, no way, I'm not doing it. I'm a fitness enthusiast. I like to change up my workouts in the boot camp. I like to create new stuff. That gives me enthusiasm. Some people, like Paul Hensley, for example, he loves to weight train and he loves to do it 5 days a week and he never gets off of it. He is more of a routinized exerciser.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the identity of a guy who never gets off of his routine, and he's an exerciser. He doesn't want to compete anymore. Mm-hmm. He's an ex-athlete. He's not really an enthusiast. I make all the exercises up. He does the same shit, eats the same shit, does everything the same way. So he's not really that enthusiast. He doesn't like to do new stuff. He likes to just go to the gym, work out 5 days a week, and stay on his routine. That doesn't work for me. I'm not that. I'm a fitness enthusiast. I get enthused by new workouts, and then I'm an athlete. I got to compete right now. I got to do competition. Somebody else. Okay. Okay. So contemplate that about yourself and contemplate your commitment, and then communicate that to us, and then we'll know 100% where you're at. And I promise you'll be treated exactly where you are. And then we both will come to the party. We'll come to the party with the same expectations for one another, and we'll both enjoy each other better. We won't have an expectation and you're not meeting it, and then you feel bad, and then that vibe is in the room, and oh, fuck that shit. We ain't got time for that shit. None of us have time for that shit. Let's meet each other exactly where we are. Once you make your mind up on that identity, all the 24 hours that we all have starts to rearrange itself perfectly for you, does it not?
Yeah.
Even she just said her time rearranges down to mobility is a mandate for her.
Yeah.
My keto eating, life has rearranged itself. So everywhere I go, I find keto. I make them make keto for
and
me.
Everybody starts to respect your priorities. So when you communicate what your priorities are at any given moment, everybody else around you, there's a ripple effect where everybody else, they start to respect that, and they help you because of that respect. So if you don't communicate, hey, I'm in athlete mode right now, I'm cutting out carbs, then other people, I mean, unless they're trying to sabotage you, will be like, yeah, exactly. But most people will be like, okay, well, like, let's go for a walk and talk then. And let's grab coffee. Like, they won't be trying to get you to eat and drink with them. But if you don't set your expectations for yourself and for what you're doing right now, then you're kind of setting yourself up for sabotage. If you're like, well, my friend wanted to go out and eat and drink, and so I went, well, did you communicate what your priorities are right now?
Love it.
I make sure I do.
Love it.
So everybody else, like even, communicating with Todd, I'm like, okay, he understands fully that my priority is getting through the season, being able to push as hard as I can. So when I'm like, I couldn't get to that report, I didn't do that, I had to do this, I had to go to the gym and do this. He totally gets it now. Yeah. So he understands where my priorities are, and she does too. I'm like, okay, she knows I'll read the text, within a day. Yeah. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I'll get back to her. Yeah. I'll get it done this week. Yeah. So everybody needs to know what your expectations are. So everybody can help you in whatever capacity they're able to.
100%. That's so great. That's exactly it. Todd told us the saying earlier today. So about being a loser. This is such a great saying. So the number one trait of a loser is to care more about society than yourself. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So care more about society than yourself. I need you to chew on that, please. So if society says, we think you're dressing too young for your age. Are you sure about that powerlifting in your 70s? What? I never heard of somebody your size actually being on a track team. That's all society talk. That's loser if you listen to them.
And also, if they're saying they haven't heard of it, it's like, okay, you probably haven't.
I'm the
here
first,
to be the
bitch.
first.
I'm the first, bitch. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Because I have pushed out a ton of information. And I got to get on a call with Karen after this. So please tell me if you got any questions.
Hey, Melinda, it's Michelle. Can you set the playback? I missed some of the discussion about the different body types, and I'd like to dig into that a little bit. Is there a link for a playback that you can
send her the video as
for
soon
the
as you
recording?
publish it?
I sure will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The recording. Yeah. Okay, will do. Everybody else good? Miranda, just make sure you message me about your pricing for the athlete photo shoots, please.
Oh, okay.
Podcast. Okay. Who's that from? Miranda. Okay. Oh, about discipline. Thank you,
Mhm.
Miranda. We'll click on that when we're done with this
And
meeting.
she put it on the team text also, the track text.
Copy it over there?
No, she already did.
Oh, she already did.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for putting it over there on the track thing. Thanks, Miranda. Thanks, Coach Miranda Reinhardt. Anybody else have anything else to? We good? Oh yeah, I see it over there. Thank you.
Perfect.
Miranda, if you can put it in the app, that'd be wonderful as well, please.